All right, I want to give you a quick introduction to the website that we'll be using to do most of our photo editing. So before we even start that, just a note, we are definitely not doing huge changes to our photos. It's just cleaning things up just a little bit, okay? So on this Pixlr website, which is linked from our canvas, we're going to open our image, and I'm going to go ahead and pick one deliberately right now that's sideways so I can show you how to turn it. You'll have the options of whether you want, what size you want, okay? And so we want to stay away from that wed one if we can avoid it. Full HD will be perfectly fine for what we're doing in class. So we're going to apply. It's going to come in sideways. So this one happens to be a vertical picture, and we need to change that. So over here on the left, we've got this property toolbar. On the very top one, this is where I can rotate my canvas and get straight up on top. Okay, so we've got some options here. If I wanted to trim or crop my image, I could do that. I could remove my background, but I'm going to bring you to the adjustment tab. That's where we're going to do most of our work here. Okay, so before I do that, actually, I'm going to make a copy of this. Let me move my base out of the way. So right here, I'm going to make a duplicate copy, and that way I can show you before and after when we're done doing this adjustment. Okay. So on this layer, we could increase or decrease our brightness. I'm going to suggest that whatever you choose to do, you're doing small moments, okay? So I tend to stay away from brightness, exposure, and contrast, but I do like black and white, and I do like the highlight and shadows. And so what we're trying to accomplish is a strong black and a strong white in each of our images. You should have a nice balance of highlights and a nice balance of shadows. I want you to notice just how small of a choice that I've made here, okay? If I show you before and after, it's really subtle, okay? We're not going overboard here, all right? So we could change and go further. These are all kind of global changes that I'm doing right now. But I actually have the ability to do some individual things, okay? So just below here, we can go into filters if I needed to sharpen or blur. There's some things we could do. These start to get a little more, you know, Instagram, Snapchat-like, so we're going to stay away from a lot of that. Before I forget, though, I do want to show you up here on the adjustment, so the one with a little circle, you could either adjust and either make brighter or calm down your color with vibrance. It's a really nice way to make kind of like a aged look to your photograph. Saturation is going to be much brighter, okay, or all the way to black and white. Temperature, I could choose whether I'm warmer or cooler. I could have a color tint over my image. And hue is actually going to totally change the entire spectrum. So notice it's like taking my flowers and making them totally different colors. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring those all back to 0. I apologize, I meant to show you that while we were there. So let's come on down to this brush, the retouch portion, because there's some things here that are really useful. So some of you might be familiar with Photoshop. Heal and repair are going to be places that you can take care of blemishes or dust or scratches. But I want to point out dodge and burn, because we will use that quite a bit in your images. Dodging and burning is allowing you to lighten or darken in specific areas as opposed to the whole image. So I can choose what size brush I want. I can decide if I want to be fuzzy or not. You always want to be really fuzzy, okay? So really, really soft. Honestly, even just staying above 50 will be fine. The strength is how quickly that will happen and whether I want to be working on my lightening or if I want to darken. And do I want to work on the darkest parts of my image, the midtones, or the lightest parts? So I'm going to lighten. I'm going to start with midtones. I have a nice big brush. And as I kind of brush over these flowers, it is brightening specific areas just where I'm touching, okay? If I move now to the light version, you'll see that like that's getting much stronger, and actually I would probably calm my strength down a little bit. I like to think of burn and dodge a bit like a seesaw. So you can lighten to your heart's content, being gentle, taking it easy, don't go too fast about it, but then you should also have some darkening happening with it as well. So we're going to go to darken. We'll start at those midtones, make sure we're fuzzy, and now instead of lightening, now it is darkening. And what it's doing is creating more contrast now in my shadows. Okay, that was way too much, so we would definitely want to go back a step. Okay, we're going to undo that last thing. And it would really, really slow down our strength right there. Okay, so now if I look at the before and after, you can see there's a pretty dramatic difference between before and after. What you choose to do on your particular image is entirely up to you. Just keep in mind that the whole point is to just touch up, clean up a little bit. Don't go overboard. That's not what we're going for. When you are done, and you will only do these for the 4 best photos that you are taking of each particular unit, you will save it. Make sure that your image name is your last name. Okay. I would save it as either a JPEG or a PNG, okay? And then make sure you're high quality, and what you're going to do is you're going to download it. So it's going to go to your download folder on your drive. You will need to move it from there to your line folder on your Google Drive, okay?